keep finding ways that we're helping partners finding either, balance in their life or focus or purpose.
Practices that are going to help improve your project management skills or your finances.
We're here to talk about setting long-term goals and then how to achieve them.
Increasing your quality, therefore becoming the best place in town to work.
Welcome to another episode of Academy Live. Today we have a great show for you. Craig Donovan, our Chief Experience Officer at Pax8, is here to tell us all about the amazing Pax8 Voyager Alliance. Pax8's Voyager Alliance launched in November and is a partner program built to fuel your success and grow with your ambitions. Unlike one-size-fits-all models, this program offers a scalable, strategic path to growth and retention with tailored tiers delivering curated enablement, education, and support. So no matter where you are in your business journey, Pax8's Voyager Alliance helps with your success at every stage. We're really looking forward to bringing Craig on to tell us more about it. So Craig, come on, join the show.
Amazing.
Hello.
Welcome.
Chris,
Welcome.
Bessie, thanks for having me.
We're so happy to have you, Craig. You are our very first guest on Academy Live way back when. So in case there have been some viewers that haven't been with us since the beginning, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. And thanks so much for having me. It's great to connect with the team again. Very exciting time right now to talk about Voyager. If I kind of roll back, I've been with Pax8 since late 2016, so just crossed my 8-year mark. It's been a pretty wild journey over that time. Pretty much my entire time here has been spent on the service and partner enablement side of the house. Very early days, was on the platform. In fact, helped create the very first PSA integrations. From there, moved over into standing up the pro serve organization, service delivery, support. Worked with Chris closely when we were first pioneering the idea of Academy back when we stood up some of our first peer groups there. Was that about 2020 or so, Chris? 2019?
Yeah, 2019. We
2019.
launched our first groups. Yeah, early 2019. Yeah.
Yep. And then from there, of course, as we found some success there, started to build out the entire Academy team, which of course involved partnering with C-level operations. Today, as the Chief Experience Officer, I have the privilege to work with some really amazing teams that are really focused on developing and stewarding all of the programs and enablement globally, really taking care of that partner experience, whether that's those things we mentioned or support or now the Voyager program.
A lot's happened in a little amount of time. Could you count on one hand how many different roles you've had at Pax8 or different things that you've touched or impacted at Pax8 while you've been here?
Yeah, it's a fun journey to look back on. Certainly one of the true blessings of my time here at Pax8. When you start with something that's as small as we were, I think we were about 25 employees when I came on board originally. And to see this growth has given me the opportunity to really be plugged in on a lot of different things. One of the interesting things to me about Pax8 is when I came on board back in early 2016, was really new to the channel. I'd never had an opportunity to work with an MSP in any fashion. And through that very first PSA integration, very quickly realized that what I thought I knew was not delivering a product worth much. In fact, maybe remembers the very first PSA integration we released in January of 2017. It just missed the mark. And so then from that point on, I went out and just immersed myself with partners. I spent over 1,000 hours in 2017 alone, just in MSP offices, talking to partners, talking to the service teams, the sales teams, the owner, figuring out how they all worked, and then just translated that information back to the engineering team, which we use to build the integration that works well today. Through that all, I discovered my passion is this channel. I just find MSP specifically to be the most interesting and amazing business owners around. Sort of equal parts genius and sort of a pirate swagger. Love it. And through that journey, I really realized what I wanted to be when I grew up, and that's to be the voice of an MSP within an amazing, innovative organization like Pax8. And so every role and every piece from that, and I mentioned a number of those, whether it was support or service delivery, professional services, academy, all started out with being deeply rooted in the partner experience, the challenges
Mhm.
they had, and then trying to translate that back to the genius that we have here to go create something new and something different.
Well, I think that is a great transition to us talking about the Pax8 Voyager Alliance and everything that is coming with how that helps partners and all the new exciting things that are coming. So, can you start by just before we get into all the nitty gritty details of what it is and what are the different tiers? How did this come about? It probably comes from a lot of your conversations with partners. So, just tell us, where is this coming from?
Yeah, and it's interesting. Well, the Voyager Alliance is a new program. The ethos and the spirit certainly isn't. As I mentioned,
Right.
we've built the company on an obsession around partner experience, and really, you know, every turn has been how do we help more? How do we deliver more? Um, there are other players in the space, I think, that you could probably buy Microsoft or other licenses from. Safe to say that nobody invests more in terms of educational programs, services, platform, and that has really been our sort of guiding principle from the beginning was to just keep doing more. Always believe that if we help a partner, if we help them grow, if we help them learn and improve their business, let them win first, everything good, for Pax8 falls out of that as a directive. And so we've continued to do that for the entire time I've been here and found a lot of success. In fact, I think I'm not sure if I've ever been to a road show or a convention where we didn't win Best Partner Program, even though we never officially had one. Um, but I think what really changed here was, just the growth. When you talk about that journey that we've been on over the last 7 to 8 years, now we have close to 40,000 partners globally. And when you've grown this much, a couple different challenges have come up. One is certainly the problem of scale, just the number of partners. And then there's also just the different types of partners. As we've grown, we've gotten different models, different regions, different size partners. And once you start running into different types of partners, they have not only different needs, but certainly different levels of expectations. And so we need to start to create a program or a language that lets us tailor those experiences and really strive to deliver the right experience for a partner based on where they are at in their particular journey.
Excellent.
So, it's funny, like you said, I love how you kind of said that this may be a new program, but kind of the spirit behind it isn't. Like that's always been there. I absolutely love that part of it. So, as this has kind of evolved and this kind of came to a point with the growth and changes in recognizing what we're seeing from our partners and their experience, this came about. So, what is it?
Yeah, let's
I,
jump
I,
right
I mean,
into
I
it.
know we just defined it, and then I turn around and ask a question like that. So it's not like I'm not listening, but if you were to take that and kind of break it down and kind of say, okay,
Yeah.
so tell people what is Voyager Alliance?
Yeah, so I think that there's sort of two things that we're trying to map here, but a lot of it actually starts with a belief in transparency and clarity for our partners. It really is about a contract between Pax8 and our partners, setting clear expectations of what partners can expect from us. And then if there's something else they're looking for, a very clear and easy to understand pathway on how to get to that next thing. In fact, one of the design decisions that I had in the very early days was to actually tier it just based off of spend. That's actually fairly non-traditional in terms of partner programs. Um, Obviously, an airline program is a very common model where you're used to seeing rewards and benefits. I fly a lot, so I've moved up that tier. Although I can tell you, in no time do I actually have any idea how my flight relates to the acquisition of points that move me up the program. It's always sort of hidden with some complex math behind the scenes. Um, Very intentionally, we made this a simple, almost a blunt instrument when it comes to how we're going to segment partners. And we understand that there could be concerns about that, right? If you're doing it just off the spend with Pax8, that may not be a great representation of a partner size. But what it is clear. And partners now can calculate it themselves. They understand what tier they're in. If they want access to something new, they know easily how to move up. And so now that we've sort of established this framework, this language, it really gives me this incredible foundation. And so phase one, and we'll walk through that here in a little bit, has really been about tiering that existing partner experience, that partner program that we've won awards for, and making it clear sort of how you move through it and what you get access to different parts. But it's also given us this really fun sort of language and jumping off point for building the new things in 25 and beyond. There's some very exciting things I've got planned for additions into Voyager Alliance next year.
Ooh, and hopefully we hear a little bit about that today as
Sure.
much as you can share. We have
Yeah,
a really quick little video that I want to just
yeah.
help us introduce this. So let's take a look at this. Oh, it shows us the different names, which we're going to definitely get into. Very exciting.
I love the imagery. Can we take a minute to talk a little bit about that and kind of the branding behind it? I mean, this isn't your
Yeah,
typical, you know,
that was
it-
actually yeah, thanks, Chris. I'm so glad you asked it. That's one of my passions about the program, and to be honest, one of the areas we thought a lot about. There was a lot of cycles, about the names, about the images, about the even the colors and how we wanted to kind of pull this through, and I think certainly the expectation, the default is to use precious metals, right? Bronze, silver, gold. The the downside for that for me is that one, it just doesn't feel very Pax8, right? We want to be out there on the edge. We want to continue to move this ecosystem forward. But I think the other part comes from the power of identity and alignment. When you're using sort of precious metals, I think there's a natural um, hierarchy. There's sort of this default assumption that one is better than the other. And, nobody has ever been proud or aligned to be bronze or something copper or whatever you might have down at the low end. But all of our partners are important to me. They're all incredibly critical part of the Pax8 ecosystem. They matter to me. I want them all to have an amazing experience that's correct for them. I want them to feel proud about that experience and be able to be proud telling their friends about their Voyager tier. And so whether you're talking about Galactic or Velocity or even, a Light Alliance or Ignite, those are all things that I could wear on a shirt. I would feel proud to be any of those things, to have an identity associated with it. And so I think that's where a lot of that branding and the energy behind the branding came from.
Yeah. I love that it's not like you said, it's not Pax8. That's kind of little Joel. And the other thing too is like there's value in everything.
Okay.
People kind of pick up that perception. I was thinking about, as a kid when, I they never said it, but I knew that when I was in the guppies that I wasn't in the shark group, and how did I feel about that? Okay, I know where I fit in my math skills, but this isn't about me. Let's go back to this and the imagery. So how do there's a lot of, you said, a lot of cycles, a lot of thought and a lot of intention kind of put
Mhm.
behind it. So, in this messaging and things like that, were you surprised about anything about the amount of effort or some of the questions or decisions or the level of detail and kind of spilling us out and the messaging behind it? What was the process like for you?
You know, I think I think certainly the only thing that surprised me, and surprise isn't the right word, but certainly appreciation,
Mm.
was the passion and care that everybody that I worked with inside of Pax8 had applied to every single element of this. Whether you're talking about the branding, whether you're talking about sort of how we're rolling out some things operationally, each of the stakeholders for each behind each of the value offerings really leaned in. There was a lot of work. It's hard to describe the amount of work that went into a launch like this to get us started. Um, and I've certainly been excited to see the partner response after we launched this. One of the places we first launched this was at our European Beyond show. And so the news had just broken in Europe really the morning of the show. And frankly, it was really exciting to walk around the convention floor and see partners holding up their phones. Right, it was the first time they could see it and showing their peers, their tiers, and sort of talking through this and coming up to me and asking about t-shirts and really embracing that moment was a lot of fun.
Now, we have some an image we can pull up here.
Let's walk through the different tiers. I really want to hear the breakdown of how do we
Yeah.
get to each one of these, and yeah.
So there really are 5 tiers here, split up again by the monthly spend with Pax8, starting with Alliance on the far left, Ignite, Velocity, Titan, and Galactic. I want to kind of call out a few different areas there. Again, all split by the revenue. When you look at the Alliance, these are oftentimes, partners that might be starting brand new or even still beginning their business. I think a lot of times these are, part-time service providers that are really getting their feet started. And this is one where it was really, really important to us to still offer a compelling service, something that they could build on, that they could grow, which means technical service. They need access to that incredible Academy on-demand library. We have over 700 videos and guides and artifacts. We want to give them access to our events. Now, all of those services do cost Pax8, right? There's an investment that we have to continue to provide there. And so we were sort of trapped between either pulling back services that we knew would help them grow and build the business and find success, or charging a little bit. And so in this tier, one of the areas that certainly has grabbed some attention is this is the only tier in which we are charging a marketplace fee. It's about $25 in the US. It varies a little bit by country. This is not a revenue driver. This is the lowest fee. When we looked through the models, we calculated it. This really is just designed to be a cost offset of the cost of servicing and delivering these value into this tier. Now, when you start to move into Ignite, this is oftentimes where we start to find that partners are more or less a full-time MSP and really starting to invest in that business. And that's where we start to unlock a lot of that standard Pax8 experience. And again, one of the things I skipped over for the Alliance members, they still have access to the NFR. So we have the biggest library of not for resale, that's free licenses of any place in the channel. Now, those licenses are critical for partners who want to test a new piece of software, utilize it inside, really expand that business. That's included for everybody. Now, once you move into Ignite, we waive the fee. Partners start to unlock the value of Academy, which means they can start to engage in all the paid services, things like peer groups, Instructor-Led courses, the subscriptions, even the C-level coaching. The account management, they're going to switch over now for the first time, get a dedicated account manager that understands them, understands their business, have access to using some of those other paid services in the form of professional services. And we're going to start to engage them in that partner network. So the partner network is really a concept where we realize that we have to hear from our partners. As I mentioned, if you go back my own story, back even 7-8 years ago, it's all been rooted in just talking to partners, getting that feedback, building the right thing. And so there's a couple different ways we engage the partner network. There's both the partner voice, which is more of an ad hoc mechanism where partners can raise their hand, say that they want to give feedback. We will connect with them through surveys, one-off focus groups, things like that to provide feedback around a specific topic, all the way up through the advisory councils for Titan and Galactic. When I move up into the technical support, I think we'll catch back up there. Once you move into that Velocity and Titan, we're going to start to deliver an elevated support experience. This includes faster response times, better SLOs in both service delivery and support. Now, when partners cross that line into Galactic, we're going to start to expand that even further. Not only are we going to further refine and move things through even faster, better SLOs, faster service delivery, dedicated queues for service delivery and support, faster escalation to vendors when we need to. But we'll also in 25 be exploring more of a pod style support engagement for some partners, where the same group of support techs will start to answer the phone every single time a partner calls in, getting to know them and building that tighter relationship. The account management and Ignite through Titan is fairly similar to what partners are used to seeing today. Now, when you move into Galactic, we're going to start to add in the addition of a TAM, or technical account manager. Now, a technical account manager operates a little different at Pax8 than it might at Microsoft or Proofpoint or one of our vendors. In this case, it really is designed to be that liaison with your service leadership at an MSP and to make sure they're getting the most out of the Pax8 experience. That's reviewing support tickets, handling escalations, brokering multi-stage projects with professional services. The TAM is an absolute expert at things like storefronts and Opportunity Explorer to help the partners tailor it to get the most out of it, even working closely with the Academy team to help broker some customer special engagements there. When you're looking at the events, this is an area along with Academy. I skipped right over it here. And Chris, I won't put you on the spot and ask you for exactly how we're tailoring this, but I would encourage our partners to stay close. We are looking
Yes.
in 2025 to release new value into Voyager Alliance on a monthly cadence. So every single month, there'll be something new dropping into here, and some depth in terms of the value around Academy will be something we'll roll out in Q1. Is that
Mhm.
fair, Chris?
Absolutely, and I will chime in and say it's been, you talk about your journey in this and kind of maybe surprise not being the right word, but just kind of seeing the passion. I will echo that from my team about this challenge of where are opportunities for us to dig in? Where are opportunities to identify more value? Where can we make different connections? How can we reframe something or lean into something? And so, yeah, there's things in the work. Stay tuned. I like that. But I think just the messaging was it really is about finding value and finding ways to look at things and engage for enablement and education. So I'm excited about what our team is coming up with and how Academy is responding to contribute to this.
Amazing.
And
Thank you.
how we can continue supporting partners too. I think that's something we've been brainstorming in our team, all the different things we can do and working together with the different areas of Academy and working together. So more to come in the future.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Hey, well put, Craig, and good tee up.
Thank you. Now, the events is actually an area that's already started to evolve. And so, one of the areas that we've started to see some evolution there is we're able to now offer a free pass to Beyond for every single partner that's in Titan and 3 free passes for everybody that's in Galactic. And so, continue to stay tuned. That whole experience will start to also evolve and add some more differentiation, even down through the Velocity and Ignite tiers as well. Professional services. This is one of those fun areas I talked about. We launched a framework, which now gives us this room for other departments and places to start to connect it into. Professional services is an area where value was added just from our announcement in October into launch in November. And we're able to now launch tiered pricing for professional services globally. So that is a percentage off the local regional rate for all projects, no limit. So we want to see partners continue to make that professional services team, which was already designed at a low cost, non revenue driver, to be even more affordable, even more accessible to help you drive more transformation with your partners or your customers. We talked through the partner network. We've got the voice and then the advisory councils for those Titan and Galactic. Now, an advisory council, just to refresh it, we have, I believe, 6 in the US and Canada today. These are recurring meetings of the same group of partners that get sort of a different level of access. We're going to come to them about all the new features. They help me discuss through and sort of build out the Voyager Alliance. If that is something that a partner is interested in for either voice or the partner advisory council, please reach out to your CAM, ask how you get plugged into one of those items. And the last one is payment flexibility. We understand that different partners have different models. There's different, maybe a cadence that their customers are paying them. So depending on the tier, we're now able to offer 30 days for Velocity and Titan and up to 45 days for our Galactic partners.
Very exciting. I have a few questions for you, Craig.
Please, yeah,
One
jump in.
thing before
Mhm.
I ask my questions, I want to remind anyone that's listening live, if you have a question, put it in the chat. We can pop that up on screen and ask Craig. So it's a direct line to Craig. You don't get that every day. So um, that's one thing. The first question I had was about Beyond. Is there going to be anything special at Beyond related to the tiers? And is there going to be meetups? What's going to happen with the tiers at Beyond and the Voyager Alliance?
Great question, and I feel like Bessie's trying to trap me and get me in trouble. So I
You
know
can't,
better
if you
than to
can't
give
announce
away
it
too many
yet, you
secrets of
can't
what's going
announce
on at Beyond. But safe to say, it's a great idea. There's a lot of it still emerging. There will certainly be some surprises, and I suspect there will be some things, some very big things announced about Voyager Alliance at Beyond. But I do think that there will absolutely, we're looking at ways to continue to drive that community around the tiers at Beyond, whether that could be um, custom swag, meetups is a great idea. Stay tuned. There will absolutely be some announcements around that coming out here in the next quarter or so. Yeah, great question.
Ooh, very
Yeah.
exciting.
That gift of telling you a question, Craig. I think that you said. I love being challenged with Bessie's questions.
Yes.
Um, so I want to know. This is a process. This is a journey. It's an evolution of Pax8 and with our relationship with our partners. Um, what have we learned? What kind of things have come back from this? What kind of feedback and what have
Yeah.
yeah, what kind of discovery has happened?
There's a few discoveries. First of all, as I mentioned earlier, it was exciting, and it wasn't again a discovery, more of a confirmation about the way that partners have responded to the branding, to the identity, to the structure itself, whether that's informally, emails directly to me, coming in through different channels. The feedback on the program itself has been almost universally positive. That's that's been exciting. That gives me something now to build on. I think one of the other items that came up quickly was, as our first cut, there's a couple areas where maybe some of the tiers feel really large. Titan, for instance, is a really large revenue band when you think about the difference between the partners and how long they might be in a Titan area. It may feel like, because again, we started out with a lot of the current program and now we're starting to enhance that, it may not feel like there's a lot of differentiation between, say, Velocity and Titan, is some of the feedback that maybe we've heard. I think these are all very fair feedback, and those are the opportunities for us to really innovate quickly starting in Q1 of next year. And so there's going to be a lot of new being added with a specific focus really on that sort of Velocity Titan tier and adding some additional value there.
Craig, if you're a new partner, you're just joining with us
Yep.
at Pax8, how does that work with the Voyager
Yes.
Alliance?
Great question. I'm so glad you asked that. That's actually when I think about one of the discoveries, one of the misconceptions, if you will, about the program is that everybody has to sort of start out at the far left and just kind of
Yeah.
slowly climb their way up. That's not at all the experience we want to provide for partners. And so when partners sign up with Pax8, they actually have 90 days after their first purchase to establish their spend and establish their tier. And during those 90 days, they're actually in a welcome tier, which actually looks an awful lot like that Velocity, the one right in the middle. And so during that period
Mm.
of time, they have access to everything Velocity partners have access to. They get to experience the full suite of Pax8 enablement while they're building their business, while they're moving licenses over, while they're establishing that footprint. Then at that point in time, they're going to be baselined. And that's when we'll actually assign them into one of the 5 tiers. Now, to be clear, if somebody in less than 90 days moves over enough business that they would actually start at Titan or Galactic, we'll fast track them. Then partners, we check it every single month. And at every month, partners will be able to be re-baselined into a new tier based on the average of the previous 3 months of their monthly recurring spend. So that's the important note. So we're not including one-time purchases. We're not including things like tax, but we are including the annual spends, but we'll amortize those over the course of 12 months. So they can move up rapidly. So even if after 90 days they may snap into, say, Ignite or Velocity, there's still a chance for them to move to Titan or Galactic based on their spend within the same calendar year. And then once a year, we're going to re-baseline and look for places where we might need to bring them back down. We actually want to make it really easy to grow and really, really hard to move down. And in fact, the first re-baseline backwards won't happen until March of 2026. So we're giving partners a huge long run to build that business. And then once a year, we'll look at it. And if their spend hasn't continued, we might re-baseline them back down. But for the most part, we just want to get partners on a track, do everything in our power to keep them growing.
Uh, the amount of, like you said, there's a lot of effort behind it, but a lot of passion behind it, which I think is awesome. Um, so I know I can ask about what we learned. What about partner feedback? Like, what are some of the things you've heard directly from
Yeah.
partners about their experience in this journey?
So I think that there's certainly a couple pieces, and I hit on a little bit. Again, the very quickly hit on the branding, the structure, the style. Frankly, the most common, I think, feedback I've heard was it's about time. I think partners have been waiting for us
Mhm.
to start to tier out this service. Um, well, there was an initial question about how we're tiering. Very quickly, the feedback was very positive there. There's been a lot of appreciation around the transparency and the clarity. It made those conversations much easier. If you want access to that technical account manager, it's pretty clear what you need to go do to go get to that. I think that a lot of the feedback, though, has been around ideas for what's next, which has been fun. That's created this really engaging conversation between the partner community and myself, which is what else do they want? How else? What do they like about other programs? What part of their business isn't being solved? What's your wish list? We've gotten to do a lot of really fun brainstorming and dream sessions with partners over the last 6 months about the new thing.
Bessie, do we
Can you give
dare?
us any? Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll do the question. So, what can you tell us? What can you
I
tell us?
can,
What's coming up?
yeah. So I will tell you that one, we are committed to not only adding new, but to adding new regularly. And so, as I mentioned, I've challenged the
Mm.
team. Let's try to put something into the program on a monthly cadence starting in January. Now, some of those things are going to be, maybe smaller or temporary things that might look like. Um, so this is actually one of the discoveries. Our vendors have been calling us nonstop since they saw this program, asking how they participate. Can they offer up
Mhm.
promotions? Can they engage with the Voyager Alliance program? And so some months you'll see, promotional pricing, which actually we launched with around a couple of our vendors. You'll see some more of that coming out in some months next year, which is short-term opportunities to explore a new product, get some better pricing. I think you'll see further refinement like Academy will come in some months there.
Mhm.
You'll start to see some other initiatives that we've been working on in pilot here over the last year will start to make their debut here over the next quarter. A lot of this will be leading towards what we believe is, one of the things I'm most excited about is a true rewards and loyalty program where I recognize our partners and the amount of partnership we've had over the years, the time spent, the spend with us, the commitment to Pax8, and I want to reward that. And so we're looking at different models there where we want to, at some level, start to allow partners to, if you will, accrue points, accrue sort of some currency, and then let them reinvest that into the business in the way that makes most sense for them. Whether that could be, new licensing, engaging with Academy or ProServe. Um, those sorts of mechanisms there to let them really start to transform that business they've already done with Pax8 or currently doing with Pax8 into growth in the areas that make the most sense to them.
I can see some partners getting really excited about that, especially those that have been so engaged with us. They
Yeah.
attend the events, they, spend with us, they engage with Academy or ProServe. I think people would get really excited about that. So
And I
very
think you hit on
exciting to
some fun
see.
parts there, which is even though we've created a program that's tiered around spend, once I get to this rewards program, I can actually start to reward for all kinds of other things. To your point, like
Mhm.
coming to
Yeah.
events or participating in focus groups or doing those other things. And so, really want to broaden that engagement with our partner base.
And
Very
I really
cool.
do appreciate kind of that openness. I think we've always been very, partner centric focused, but I like this as like taking the opportunity not just to listen and kind of it, but to be creative and to
Mhm.
think about, oh, and think about that, or people care about that, or this would be a way to kind of show or to get back or to incorporate things in. I really appreciate that. So Craig, I know we're kind of getting kind of closer to time. I wanted to kind of give an opportunity to say
Yeah.
anything else. Is there anything we didn't ask that you'd like to kind of get
Yeah.
into, or anything else you'd like to share with us?
I think the thing that I would just love to maybe make an ask back out to the community, which is stay engaged. Talk to us, talk to your CAMs, reach out if you're in the peer groups, reach out through Chris and team. If you're, however you engage. Talk to us at the Florida show. Reach out to me directly. Right, send those emails in. We want to build, and we recognize that while we're very, very excited about what we've launched, this is just the foundation. This is just step one of what's to come in 25 and beyond. And I want to continue to invest in this community. I want to continue to develop next level enablement and services and education and all the cool things that I think make Pax8 and our relationship with our partners unique. I want to continue to do more of that, but I want to do the right things. So please engage. We're looking for feedback.
Awesome.
Thanks so much, Craig, for joining us and for giving us all that information. Even when we, wanted more than you could give us, you really did a great job of sharing what you could. I think everyone, like the main takeaway I have from Craig is check your emails so you know what's coming and you get these announcements, and talk to your channel account manager so that you're aware of what's coming up and what's new with your tier in your Voyager Alliance. So thank you so
And
much, Craig. Next up, we have sales pitch. So let's take a look.
Play ball! It's off season for baseball, and just because games aren't being played doesn't mean that everything stops. Players are still training to be ready for next year and next season. General managers are looking to improve their teams. The business is still running and looking to improve even when the games aren't being played. One of the biggest myths that I hear is, well, it's the end of the year. Nobody's going to make decisions in December. Might as well wait till the beginning of the year. That's a bad approach. Prospecting should be consistent. Doesn't matter what time of the year it is. Today, we're going to focus on preparing and planning for adding new monthly reoccurring revenue. First of all, ask yourself this question. What did you do in 2024, and what do you need to do in 2025 to effectively grow? As you plan, the focus should be doing the prospecting and marketing tactics to get you in front of your ideal prospect. What KPIs will you measure each week, each month, and each quarter? Best-in-class managed service providers are striving for a minimal increase of 20% year-over-year new revenue growth in managed services. So let's touch all the bases on the key KPIs you need to focus on to achieve your goals. 1. Introductory meetings. 5 to 10 minute quick chats with your ideal prospect that is provided to you by either your clients or your centers of influence, your referral partners. Tell stories on results you deliver to others in their industry, problems you solve for their industry, and demonstrate you're a subject matter expert in technology for their industry. You want to have 2 or more of these type of introductory meetings each week. 2. First-time appointments. This is when your prospect says, hey, I want to learn more about you, and they need help solving problems. You should strive for 1 to 2 of these every week. 3. Center of influence meetings. People doing business with your ideal client. People you have a know, like, and trust relationship with that can provide you some sort of introduction or referral or vouch for who you are and your company is. You want to have 2 or more of these every week. 4. Networking events, where other business leaders or business associations in your target industry may go. Fishing where the fish are. You want to go to at least 1 or 2 of these each and every month. If you don't have a target client profile or an ideal client, make that a goal of yours in 2025 to define one. Until then, make sure you're meeting with business owners or executives in the size client you're looking to go after. Maybe attend a CEO group where a bunch of entrepreneurs and business executives attend every month. To learn more information about setting your new year up for success, you can check out the Result Selling Framework podcast. We have a new one that's called Pax8 Academy's Annual Sales Action Plan. You can find that either in Pax8 Academy or Pax8's YouTube channel. If you need help in putting goals like these together, whether it's sales accountability, how to get leads, prospecting, developing a sales process, or hiring, leading, managing salespeople, please reach out to me or your Pax8 account manager to inquire about sales coaching. Every day is the big game for IT service providers. It's time to play ball.
Play ball!
That was a great sales pitch, Keith. I think that was very motivational for anyone who's feeling the December slump, about how important it is to keep prospecting and to keep that communication with your prospects and your clients, even when it starts to feel like it's this slow season. I want to especially thank our guest today, Craig Donovan. It was so great to hear all about the Voyager Alliance Partner Program with Pax8 and how you can get involved and get rewarded for your experience with us. And we're excited to bring more for you throughout all of next year. So lots of new exciting things to come there. Make sure you check us out next week. Our guest will be Lisa Plagmeyer, Executive Director of the National Cybersecurity Alliance. We're going to have audience poll questions on cybersecurity. So this is an important one for you to join live if you can. It'll be the first for us on the show. We're really looking forward to it. Make sure to check us out live every Tuesday at 2 p.m. Mountain Time and on demand always. Don't forget to subscribe and like us on our YouTube channel. Rex isn't here today, so Chris, can you close us out?
Absolutely, happy to. Now, one thing I kind of want to reiterate one thing that Craig had said, and that was just kind of that reaching out and kind of saying to engage, right? We get out of things what we put into it. And I would really kind of put it out there to everyone. Uh, engage with Pax8, your CAM, the resources available, the relationship you have, academy, the groups, the course, whatever, however you kind of have that, but to stay engaged and continue and building that relationship. There's a lot of exciting things coming, so be a part of it. And to kind of with in place of Rex, I'd love to kind of just remind everybody to think about, what you've learned, what you've reflected on, and ask yourself, what are you going to do differently tomorrow to improve your business? Thanks for being here. Have a great day.